Welcome all to another episode of the Turin Giants Podcast. We come to you live 10 minutes or so after the drab 1-1 draw of Juventus versus Fiorentina, which will be the focus of today's episode. I am welcomed here. Well, I should introduce myself. I'm Zach, and I'm welcomed here by Frederic and Farhad. Gentlemen, after that performance, you must be ecstatic. You must be happy. You must be hopeful. Am I correct?
Birth of my children, my wedding, and this was the most exciting event of my life. Number 3.
Frederic lost for words. He's lost for words on mute over there.
He's not in the jokey mood.
No,
No. I was just thinking. I've had colon and prostate exams that were a lot more fun than this. And I'm going to start the episode with saying, like, I got a lot of backlash. Hey, Frederic, you're positive all of a sudden after last Wednesday. Yeah, throw that out. It's done. I tried. The dark side won. I can't fight it anymore. Can't resist it. What an awful 90 plus minutes of so-called football. I'd be ashamed if my provincial side put up like something that even resembles that performance. So we'll get into it, but I think my face speaks volumes.
Yeah. Look, as Mohammed says in the chat, we're going to do our best therapy session. It wasn't a defeat, but it sure was a moral one. I think all of us are pretty disappointed with that effort, and we'll get into it shortly. But before we do that, we'll get some housekeeping matters out of the way. If you do not already follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube at Turin Giants Official, this episode is live there. Please drop us a subscribe, also a follow or like on Spotify, Apple Play, or wherever else you get your podcast content. And I want to get through that quickly because it's really important for us to talk about some recognition before we jump into this terrible game. Our really good friend, Uncle Beppe, Giuseppe Bognani, Just Juve, was up against a host of, primarily Premier League podcasting talent in the Football Contents Award and brought home the W. Congratulations to Uncle Beppe. It's really, really, really good reflection of his hard work and dedication and passion that he gives not only to his job but also to the fan base. And so we wanted to shout out this amazing win for him.
Well deserved.
And still remaining a nice human without being an a-hole that got popular on YouTube.
Absolutely
he
nice
is
guy.
one of the nicest guys legitimately I ever had the pleasure of meeting. And if I may add, you and I called it, Zach. We called it.
We did.
Remember?
We did. If y'all tune into the Let's Talk Juve series from Uncle Beppe and Turin Giants every Thursday except for last week, which was on a Wednesday, we called it, Frederic, didn't we? We said it's guaranteed. Lock it down. Write the acceptance speech on the train. It's going to happen.
That's how much faith we have in Beppe. And an award show that wasn't rigged, I mean, that's something new, but he deserves it. And
you know how it wasn't rigged? Because an Italian content creator made one and not an EPL one. So that's awesome.
Awesome. Like shout outs.
So that was I think a nice positive note to start this podcast off on. And now we need to get into the meat and potatoes of this match. Again, 1-1 draw versus Fiorentina, the last place team in Serie A, the worst defense, guaranteed victory, right, gentlemen? No. Frederic, I'm going to go to you first because the starting lineup had some interesting aspects to it. McKennie, Kostic, both pariahs under Tudor, got a starting spot. We see Kelly come back into the lineup. What was the plan with this lineup? And did we ever see that plan pan out on the field?
I feel, and I could be wrong here because it's very difficult nowadays to make any assessments that seem quietly based on logic. with reference to Juventus. But I think the plan was to have Kostic and McKennie in support of a midfield that is fairly teethless at times. And Kelly, well, let's be honest, prior to his injury, I think the last couple, 5, 6 matches, he was our best man on the pitch. So it's no surprise that when he's match fit, he plays, especially due to the lack of alternatives. But the Kostic McKennie thing for me was just something to give a bit more teeth and support to our midfield, and that turned out really, really well, I must say. So, and it's a bit of a
You
yeah. Go
sound
ahead.
you sound like you're making a joke, but Kostic did score our goal. So I mean, I guess
Yes,
dive into it. I mean, are you being sarcastic, or what exactly do you mean by it went
I
really
am
well?
being sarcastic because I think I also said this in our group chat. This is the only way we can score goals. Either it's like a scramble and some lucky, I don't know, deflection that goes in, or a long range drive, and that's the only way we can score. And kudos to Kostic for trying. Apart from that, he was, as the rest of the team, very poor, very lackluster. So, in my opinion, and if I were the coach and I saw that tandem McKennie Kostic, I'd sub them around the 55th minute mark already. So we'll get into that later, I know, but to me it was kind of baffling as to why Spalletti didn't intervene earlier.
But when you see Kostic, and we saw where Cambiasso was playing on the pitch, sort of the assumption is that we're going to see a lot of crosses. And we did see a lot of crosses today. Farhad, I know you love a good cross and inshallah tactic. Do you think, were you optimistic with, a big body Vlahovic in the box getting fed crosses from Kostic as we headed into this game? Or were you pessimistic at our chances to score from that strategy?
Optimistic, because I thought Kostic has been okay under Spalletti. But most importantly, we had 10 days, 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
Mhm.
And if this game was played 3 days after our previous game against Torino, you'd say, yeah, I mean, it's just, we're going through but why, after such a long time of preparation, basically nothing has changed? That's what I'm like, the biggest question after the game is, I mean, 2 weeks, it's another draw, third draw in a row. But again, Vlahovic crosses, big guy, absolutely coming back to Florence after 7 games of not scoring against his previous team, and again, nothing, leaving the pitch embarrassed without a goal.
Yeah, I mean, Frederic said, the only way we can score goals is through these lucky strikes from outside the box. I mean, if only we got a breakaway or something in a game to give us a chance, guys, right? If only
That
we
didn't
had
happen.
something like that. We're going to talk about those moments next. But Frederic, I guess same question that I gave to Farhad to you. I mean, when you play Kostic, it seems like it's certainly from the left side, and it proved true from both sides that a lot of our goal scoring attempts seem to come through crosses. Is this a viable strategy for this Juventus team?
Of course it isn't, but I think Spalletti's struggling with the way how to shape our striker assemblement, or how to call it. I think he's having some issues with placing everybody in their proper positions or seeing how they fit. Because if you saw the moments when we did break away, there was a lot of space, and it left me wondering as to why he didn't bring Openda, for instance, earlier. Because we saw for like 60 minutes that the cross and inshallah strategy was not working. So you see that Fiorentina were left vulnerable, and in my opinion, Spalletti didn't do much to remedy that. As to why, I don't know, but I think the whole cross thing and Vlahovic, because Vlahovic is not even that good of a header to begin with. So um, I fail to understand as to why we use this strategy. But yeah, I'm struggling to find the reasoning behind our playing style at the moment. Yeah.
It definitely, well, first off, I'll say we are second in Serie A in crosses. So clearly this is something that's transcended just Spalletti. It's what Tudor as well. We're feeding a lot of crosses in, and from the number of goals we've scored and from our position in the standings, it's clear that it's not working. I think, Frederic, what it comes down to is an inability to play through the middle. You saw Yildiz way more centrally today, but he struggled to get on the ball. Our midfielders were also not having much of an influence in the middle of the pitch until the game somewhat opened up. For large portions, they weren't. So I think that's the question, is we wanted to see Yildiz play more centrally, throw Kostic out wide. You used to put him centrally, and he had a very underwhelming game today. I see.
Again,
Farhad, were you raising your hand?
Yeah, a couple of things.
Buongiorno, 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 buongiorno,
Cazzo.
buongiorno. Come ha detto lei, buongiorno, buongiorno.
Mr. Buongiorno. And second of all, Frederic mentioned that Vlahovic is not that good of a header scorer, and that got me thinking, because I don't remember last, goal he scored was head. So he has scored 8 header goals for Juventus, according to Google. So yeah, not much, not many.
Yeah, and the fact is you look at the other people who could score headers on our team. Yildiz is tall and plays up front, but is really not known for his heading. You have David and Openda, both of whom the weakest part of their game is in the aerial aspect. The only real person on our team who's good in the air is McKennie, who was largely absent from the majority of the game, in my opinion. But let's talk about some of the key moments. This was, I think we can all agree, a pretty poor game of football, right? So, but there were some key moments. Let's first talk about the penalty that wasn't. Yes or no? Yes or no, Farhad? Is that a penalty?
The VAR check went on for so long. It turned into an offside. Then it turned into Vlahovic foul. It went through so much. Forget the word, but anyways, it was hilarious. I don't think it was a penalty. I mean, even if it was a soft one.
So you're a no. You're a no on this.
No, I'm a no.
Frederic, yes or no? Penalty.
I'm a no, and I'm gonna tell you as to why. Vlahovic did everything great, and then all of a sudden, in the same action, the stupidity of Vlahovic comes into play. You've passed the man. No, but you've passed him. You play the ball with a nice back heel through his legs. You have the advantage. Beautiful movement. Keep your arms away from him. If he pulls you down, it's always a penalty. But if you start struggling and scraping and jostling and whatever, then you know it can go both ways. Leave the guy alone. Manage your pace. If you lose stability, so be it. But just leave him alone. And any smart striker knows that when you're past the man in the penalty area, don't touch him. If he touches you, it's always a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But don't give him reason to debate or to turn the decision back or whatever. And that's what he did. And sorry, for me, that's plain stupidity. That's plain stupidity.
I don't. There's nothing wrong with him putting his arms out. I think that the second he grabs the jersey, though, it's that grab. Right, if he uses his physicality and stays big, keeping his arms obviously below the head level, they'll never call that a penalty or a foul against him ever. But the second you see him grab first, I think that's what was the sort of the decision was him grabbing first.
Segment idea: lowest IQ moment of the game.
Well, we're about to get to that.
Okay, good.
Because the second moment of the game, no, that was not it. We are all a no penalty on that one. So not much to discuss. Let's move to the second big moment of the game, Dusan's breakaway. All right. Frederic says the only goals we can score, unlucky outside of the box ones from our not forwards because our forwards can't score. I jokingly said, well, if only we got a breakaway. Well, we got one, folks. It couldn't get any clearer than that. So an easy 1-0 up, right, Frederic?
It's mine. It's always the same exact situation. It's like, I swear, if you could put Vlahovic's brain into like a little bird, the bird would fly backwards and I don't know what would happen. I mean, you have that momentum going. You clearly have your first touch well in place because he wins a lot of meters on his defender. So you think that you'd have time to get a good body position for yourself in front of the goal. And then you see Vlahovic thinking, and it turns to, you know what, a striker with a true striker's mentality and a striker's instinct just goes towards the keeper, places the ball into a corner with a little shimmy or a feint or whatever, and it's in, done. No, Vlahovic has to get past the keeper, and he does that so slow executionally wise that almost half of the defensive line gains grounds on him. He gets a little nudge. I'd say, drop yourself as if you were shot down. He doesn't do that either. He insists on keeping his stability, and then just is happy by just touching the ball wherever and seeing where it ends up. And that's example number two of Vlavic's stupidity. So yeah, maybe somebody has a different opinion. I don't know, but
But we'll go to Farhad. Farhad, you had said we want your boneheaded moment of the game. Is the absolutely choked breakaway not
You know
your
what?
boneheaded moment of the game?
You know what your guys' problem is? You guys expected a goal there. If you've seen Fight Club, there's a quote, "I am Jack's complete lack of surprise." I watched the entire sequence just sitting back like, no, I'll celebrate the surprise of the goal because I honestly don't even see it happening. I see Dusan somehow completely effing it up at the end, which he did. I think that the reason he went to his left is because his last touch was awful. It just went too far. Otherwise, I think he would have shot the ball in front of the goalie. But what do I know? That's just my thought. But
He
I
went to
wasn't
his left because he only has 1 foot, Farhad. Did you not see his volley with the right foot? It's up there with Koopmeiner's shot from last
maybe
season.
that's why. But the thing remains is that I was not surprised at all. I would have been more surprised if he scored, and that's sad because that's our number 9 that makes, like the commentator said, a million euros a month.
More. Which is we don't need to talk about. We've talked about his salary enough, and it's not his fault. It's whoever gave it to him.
at least we don't have to pay him scoring bonuses.
Yeah,
So that's
no.
the upside.
That's real simple.
Plan.
Real simple. I will say though, and I want to toss this to you guys because we've talked about two, pretty poor moments from Vlahovic, in my opinion. I think we all agree on that. But a lot of people were saying across the social media verse that Vlahovic actually, more so than any other player on our team, was playing well. He was playing inspired. He was playing with his back to goal. He was winning balls. He was fighting. He showed more grinta than everybody else. Obviously, he missed those 2 opportunities. But what is your response to that, Frederic?
If we have to pay somebody over 12 million a year to press and show grinta, I'll be happy to take that job upon myself and run like a lunatic squirrel up and down the pitch and scare some defenders. If you don't need me for technical ability, you don't need me to score, you don't need me to hand out assists, but just run and press like a madman, hey, I'll do it. I'll even kiss the badge. I'll celebrate with the team. I'll scream Fino alla fine every 5 minutes, whatever you want. So I mean, but that's the thing. Like there has to be some level of acceptance. What can we accept? What is the job of a certain player?
Mhm.
What do we ask of him? And if that player, whoever that is not capable of doing that, then he should be out. And I don't care if it's Vlahovic. I don't care if it Yildiz, because I've pretty much had it with Kenan as well. I'm gonna be totally up and blunt because I'm sorry. You're this great big talent. You want 7 million a year, but you failed to score a goal, or you scored 2 goals in 12 games. And we've been talking about him since, like, what is it, middle of September? Yeah, he seems tired.
Hmm.
Well, it's the end of November. He still seems tired. I mean, there has to be an underlying issue there. And I'm not putting his quality or his talent into into doubt. No, far from it. But I think if there was ever a right time to stand up as the talent that you are and, put the team on your back, then it should have been the last couple of months. Yet every game, he's, slouching, dragging a bit. And you see once in a while that spark of genius. And I love that about him. But let's not be too fast and compare him to Del Piero and the greats, because I'm sorry, he has done nothing thus far to prove or merit that status. And that goes not only for Kenan Vlahovic, but for me, the rest of the team. The only one I'm comfortable with is Kelly. The only one I'm comfortable with is Kelly, because that guy has hit a ceiling and he does his best to maintain that level day in and day out. You don't hear him complaining. You don't hear him pointing fingers. You don't see him throwing tantrums. He's just a guy who knows what his capabilities and his limits are, and he plays accordingly and with passion. And that's, good enough for me, because the guy gives it his all. Then I see Thuram, I see Locatelli, I see Di Gregorio, I see Cambiaso, I see Yildiz, I see Vlahovic, and I'm like, are we in the multiverse or somewhere, or what happened? Because I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of silly. My wife, who doesn't follow Juventus at all, was watching the game, and she's asked, "Why does everyone who come to Juventus stink?" And I was going to respond, but I realized that is the gazillion-dollar question, right? I mean, that's what we're seeing with everybody right now. And an established manager like Spalletti, I, to be honest, expected more of a new coach boost from our team. What is our third straight draw under him? And
hey, he won against Cremonese. What else do you want from him?
More wins. I mean, the Torino game we should have won today. The team just didn't really look that. Yeah, actually, let's talk about it. I mean, there's a couple more moments I want to highlight both of the goals. Let's talk about it. Spalletti.
That's not. I'm so getting. I'm sorry. I literally feel like an anxiety attack coming up. I mean, it's not even funny anymore. Oh,
but Spalletti. This team. Look, I've long said this is like a reflection of how the team starts is on the coach to get them mentally and physically prepared for the game. The game was really sloppy, okay, in the beginning of both halves. And then you talk about sub strategy. You see the Cabal and Moretti subs in the 66th minute. Those were not those. Those players did not start well. Okay, so they didn't have any impact initially. Cambiaso off for Chico in the 76th. There, Chico always is lively, especially in the attacking third. So that was, I would say, kind of a positive. And then you wait to the 88th minute to sub off Dusan and Yildiz for Cabal and David, two guys who we've said, David and Openda, that is, that need confidence and need a goal, and yet you give them 6 minutes to do just that. Farhad, was this a coaching disaster from Spalletti today?
I mean, this was a must-win, man. And I mentioned it, and I posted on Instagram. This was a must-win. I don't know what he had to do. You mentioned that ridiculous 88-minute sub. That's when you sub when you're up 2-1 in the Champions League semifinal. You need to keep that lead. 88th minute, you bring in players and expect them to make a difference. The only thing that makes me think is that you're going for that draw. You're fine with that. It's just Spalletti is in a hot seat today for sure, man. I mean, it's just wasn't good coaching. It's a worst team in the league, and you had so much time to prepare. Again, I'm mentioning that the break, and that's what you do. Listen, we'll see. I can look up post-game interviews for you right now. See what Spalletti said. If you're the host, you tell me if you want me to bring up a couple quotes here.
Go right ahead, Frederic. What is the school grade you give Spalletti for today?
European school grade out of 10, a 3. American grades, a D-.
Okay, D-, not an F. So what elevated Spalletti today to a D-, which, by the way, is for the Europeans not passing still.
I wouldn't choose the term elevated because it was poor. But I feel, and I could be very wrong here, but this felt very Unspalletti-like,
I agree.
the way he handled things, and makes me wonder, are these the type of actions of a coach that'll be here next season, in the sense that you as a coach want to play Champions League football next season, and if you know for a fact that you'll be here, I think you'll be more involved into the whole scheme of things in order to get that ticket in. This felt like I'm okay. I'm with whatever happens. Let's bring on Moretti. The guy hadn't had an injury a while now. Let's see what happens. Oh, Cabal recovered. Yeah. Let him go up and down the wing, and we'll see. It didn't make much sense to me. And what even made less sense to me was the fact that we send a private jet out to get Segrova back straight after his game. We hardly even give the guy time to shower in order to let him play for 0 minutes.
What a waste of gas.
I know we're not the best investment equity management wise, but hey, if you just want to throw away money, throw some my way. What is happening? Like
Yeah.
Zegrova or Panda Conceição would be a perfect fit for these types of games. Let alone,
But even if they're the right fit, Frederic, you sub them in at the 88th minute. I mean, that's kind of my point. Is Spalletti, I think, had a bad game. We'll talk about a good moment and a bad moment now. I want to quickly just appreciate the people in chat: Skippy, Azaru, Sky, Mohammed, still hanging out with us, Michael, and others. Appreciate all of you tuning in for, well, I guess how we process this underwhelming draw. But let's talk about the two goals. We just kind of jumped to the Spalletti section. Let's talk about the two goals. We'll start with the goal against, even though it happened second. Frederic, was that just a wonder strike from Mandragora, or should Di Gregorio have done better?
You know the answer to that.
Look. I'll tell you this. Hold on. Before you respond, the chat was begging for a Frederic Di Gregorio.
I'm doing this for Colo. I'm doing this for Colo.
By the way, Colosimo sighting.
No, yeah, he was one of the ones. Hold on, let me find that.
He was. That's the first thing he asked.
Up on the screen.
He said, "Did I miss it?"
Here we go. Okay, yes, Colo. Welcome. All right, Frederic, the floor is yours.
I'm not gonna repeat myself. I think it's clear what I feel about Di Gregorio, and the thing that irks me the most is that almost every chance that he gets, as in every game, he proves me right. I'm not gonna say that this is like a clear keeper error. It's not. Let's be fair towards Di Gregorio as well. It's not a clear keeper error. But if you look at, let's take the 20 goals, the 20 last goals that he conceded, and we analyze them, I think 16 times out of 20, you can say objectively, he could have done better. And that's the reoccurring tale. And that's with Di Gregorio, that's with almost everybody. Di Gregorio just has the bad luck that he's a keeper. And if he makes a mistake or he doesn't do good enough, he automatically are a goal behind or he get a goal in. So that's his flaw or his, defect by default. But it goes the same the other way with Vlahovic, with making the same errors every game again and again and again and again. So do we need to boot him out and bring in new players? Hell yeah. Because we've been trying with Vlahovic for 5 years. Di Gregorio's on his third year, and it's not like they're 19-year-olds who still need to grow up and learn stuff or whatever. No, enough is enough. They're not good enough. Cut your losses. Make sure that you have somebody, in standby, and get that person in. And it's as simple as that, in my opinion.
So Di Gregorio's, he's on his second, right? Not his third.
Second, sorry.
So on this goal, right, you have, who was it? Was it Thuram who headed the ball right to the
it was Thuram. Yeah.
So out of 100%, Frederic, how much is Di Gregorio at fault? is Thuram at fault and Mandragora at fault? I mean, obviously,
For scoring.
partition the goal credit to those three gentlemen out of 100%.
40% Digre, 50% Turam, 10% Mandragora.
I think that's a little rough, but
That's a hater.
Farhad, do you agree? Do you agree with that?
It was a beautiful strike, but you mentioned Thuram. Let me just go back. You know how in the beginning of Thuram's adventure with Juve, I was not the biggest fan. Then
you were not.
He convinced me. I am man enough to admit where someone changes. I change my opinion about something, and now he's back to being shit.
Yeah.
The little perfect little pass with a header to Keane. That's where it all started. I mean, he jumped higher than everyone else. He had a chance to either flick it to the side, head it backwards. There's a ton of options. He's a tall guy with the only one competing for the ball, so he has time to place it. He places it right under Keane's feet, and then they go and they score. Beautiful strike. I think if it was our goal, I'd be going crazy. It's beautiful top bins, but the Gregorio or not, Thuram. Del Piero is agreeing.
No, Alessandro Del Piero for Digre.
Thuram has to do better there. I mean, that was awful. That was so poor, such poor quality.
Yeah. No, I give that play, partition the blame more to Thuram. I'll give it sort of like, if I had to do it, I'd be 60% Thuram, 30% Mandragora, and 10% for Digre. I mean, when you think about the keeper, it's like that goal, and obviously, just like with strikers, you judge keepers oftentimes on the goals that they concede. But what concerns me is more so moments where there was no goal involved. For instance, when Keane hit the woodwork, he beat Digre to the near post. And then there was the counterattack throw right out of bounds. And in that moment, I was just thinking about you, Frederic, because like those strike you, or me at least, of a player who's nervy, who's not composed in the and or prepared under the circumstances, and that made me nervous a little bit.
I'm gonna counter your beautiful analysis. Hats off to you with a short story, which also involves my wife now.
Short story. All right, strap in, folks.
The last time I went to see Juve live with her was against Barcelona, Champions League, when we qualified for we didn't qualify. It was the leg at home against Barcelona with the 2 Dybala goals. And for some strange reason, because her kids are out for the evening, she went and sat and watched the game with me. And she said, like, after, I don't know, 7-8 minutes, is this Juventus, or is this like the second team of Juventus? I said, no, this is Juventus in all its glory and our strongest formation possible at hand. And she stared in front of her for like 10 seconds and went, "Whoa."
Which game was she watching? Which game was this?
Today's game.
This one? Okay.
Yeah. Today's game. So, I mean, we just don't cut it. Yeah. Like
somebody, I was watching. Sorry, Zach. Just quickly, I was watching Bepe's live stream, and he was super frustrated too. Somebody in the chat mentioned, "Oh, if you're a neutral watching this is so terrible." Yeah. I was like, "Bro, let me break it to you. Neutrals don't watch Juve anymore. Like, my dad is a complete neutral lover of the game. He's like, why would I spend? This is awful. Neutrals don't watch us. It's us and like these insane people who wake up at 3 a.m. in Australia and Indonesia. Those are the people who watch Juve now. Neutrals don't enjoy Juve since, I don't know, Ronaldo left."
By the way, shout out to our listeners, and we do have listeners live and recorded in Australia, Indonesia, and those countries. So yes, yeah, Skippy, that's me. He says, yeah. We see y'all. We see y'all, and we appreciate y'all. Let's move to maybe a moment of goodness. The goal, we talked about the Fiorentina goal. Frederic, run us down quickly Kostic's goal, which hilariously started with Vlahovic expertly blocking Locatelli's volley on goal. Take it from there.
But thank you for not mentioning that, by the way.
This was your typical Hail Mary action because there were so many things going wrong and happening in that attacking movement that it wasn't even funny. Everybody was like, yo, the ref's gonna whistle. Let's do whatever we can and we'll make it whatever. So there was so much confusion, so much chaos, so much. And all of a sudden, I think Kostic just went, well, he's gonna blow the whistle anyway, so I might as well give it a shot. And huzzah, a goal. And that's it. There's no like tactical analysis. There's no player switching. There's no player, bypassing a defender or making a forward run or creating space. No, it was a moment of chaos. And Kostic said, well, here goes nothing. And we cheered.
Yeah,
By the way,
In my opinion, that's my
can I just-
expert tactical analysis on the goal.
Can I just celebrate a huzzah from Frederic?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Love
Okay,
it.
so the we've kind of touched on, I think, the keyest moments of the game. Farhad, I know
Yes,
you've
sir.
pulled up a couple quotes from Spalletti. What did he say after the game?
Well, let's see. So, as ambition, we must aim to fight for the Scudetto. Not the Scudetto itself, but that's the path. I don't know what that means.
Neither does he.
And then he says, the silence of the players tells me that they're not satisfied either. No shit, genius. We need to play a different kind of football. If we can't, we are what we show. We must raise our level in everything, and we want to come to difficult grounds like this. And difficult ground. He's calling Fiorentina a difficult ground.
In his defense, the stadium is falling apart. And
It was
pretty difficult.
What did
think
Zach? Zach, what did you call it? Champagne football?
Oh, yeah. Well, I described the at halftime the game as champagne football, at least the kind you drink out of a bag. And Frederic
With a
added,
straw.
Yeah, Frederic added with a straw. So yeah, that kind of summed up.
I think we might need to purchase. My daughters just came in. I think we might need to purchase another Viola player or two, so we can get those guys their money, the revamp the stadium,
They
because
need the
we've
stadium.
already paid for their new training grounds and their facilities. I think it's time that Juventus, as a good sporting Serie A side, invested in Fiorentina. and,
Okay,
Tell your wife next time that's our B team right there.
it is. I mean,
Okay.
it's so many of the players you recognize, but it's like what after Berna, Chiesa, Dusan, Nico. I mean, I think we've given them enough.
Bernardeschi.
Yeah, that's Berna.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so those quotes, I don't really know what to take from those quotes, Farhad, other than maybe
It's just filler.
Spalletti
It's filler.
Spalletti giving filler nonsense.
He's like Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. That, and we talk about practice, some of the best post-game nonsense that ever existed. Okay, so we're taking a giant step back, gentlemen. We've already said the game sucked. Spalletti didn't have a good game. We talked about a couple moments, most of them poor. Can we take anything positive from this game, Frederic?
No, we can't. I'm sorry.
agree.
I failed to
agree.
see anything noteworthy or positive that happened during this game. There wasn't any spark or light that made me feel like, okay, this is something positive we need to take away and implement into our next games or our next. Honestly, it was very difficult, and I'm usually such a positive guy.
You are,
But no,
you are a happy camper,
no,
as we call you.
objectively, it was very, very, very difficult to see something that was noteworthy or positive today.
Yeah.
Farhad, do you agree?
I want to hear your opinion, Zach, after, because we don't. I know you're a host, but we do want to hear it from you too. Positive. I mean, we if Keane doesn't hit the woodwork, we're talking about a loss here. Don't forget. Everything from subs to starting lineups to attitude of the players to our key players performing well. No, there's no positive. There was not a minute of that game that I enjoyed. It was just a poor game, poor atmosphere. Half the stadium is missing. Referee. Let's mention the referee who walks around with an Inter backpack. Don't forget, go on our Turin Giants Instagram to look at the story. He does does have ties to Inter. It was just a piss poor game all over. There's positives, no positives taken from it.
All right, so we've got two negative Nancys here. I'm going to reach for a positive. Are you ready, gentlemen? I'm going to do some mental gymnastics. Positives from today.
Let's do it.
Cool. Kelly, returning from injury. Moretti and Cabal all got minutes. Getting some depth, getting a little match fitness will help us throughout the season. There we go, gentlemen. Are you convinced?
I am most definitely not convinced in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry,
That's
Zach.
the best I got.
I applaud your effort. I mean, the effort itself was a very nice one. I'm not gonna be negative about that. But you know what it is like? You expect somebody to have an impact. Like I feel if you put in a sub, he needs to have some sort of impact. It could be like very little, it could be very big. That depends on the circumstances. The minute he gets whatever. But you have this guy Moretti who's fairly young.
Mhm.
He's been injured quite a while. I was dying to get back on the pitch when I was injured. Then you set him loose with almost still half a game to play. And he does absolutely nothing. He does absolutely nothing.
You don't think Miretti did anything?
Well, I'll say that there's no question. There's no question that both Cabal and Moretti, who came in during the same substitution cycle in the 66th minute, their first touches, both of them, the first few touches from both of them were horrible, and went to the if that's how Farhad feels about the whole situation. He's throwing his mic. The first few touches from both of them were really bad. I think, Frederic, I think Moretti kind of grew into the game a little bit towards the end. Are you going to concede that much, or are you done? Are you saying he was?
No, I can see. No. He grew into the game for sure. But if that is all that you can bring to the table after all that absence and with all that hunger to start into play, and that's your ceiling, then I don't know what you're doing at Juventus. That's my take on it. I'm too negative, perhaps.
No, I think both of us in the preseason, actually, Frederic, we talked about it. Kind of called out how he has to prove something, Moretti, that is, to this team, because I think he had a positive loan spell, but from what I've seen from him, he's still lacking in areas to be a Juventus style player. The fact is, though, is prior to today, he had 8 minutes of football this season. So I mean, he's still got the opportunity to show it. I don't know if necessarily today was a defining performance for anybody on our team. And I think this can be the segue, talk about defining performances, is for those who routinely listen to our post-game coverage, we try to do a man of the match or a big balls player.
Oh, you gotta let me know, man. Sorry, hold on.
No, that was me.
Sorry. I was still working out the kinks. I'm sorry, Zach.
Kicking Farhad with his drops. Killing me. All right. But we like to do a big balls player of the match, and you have to pick one. Okay. Both of you. So you can't say nobody, as much as we talked about people not playing well today. Farhad, I'm going to you first. Anybody who is your, well, no, and I don't know if anybody deserves it, but who is your big balls player of the match?
I'll say it if people don't come at me. I'm just saying it. I don't even know. I mean, out of the pile of to pick out a decent performance, it's probably Di Gregorio. But please don't kill me on that one. He did have a couple of saves.
Fredric's face.
but
all right, no.
I mean,
state your case. State your case. That's okay. We don't judge, Frederic. We don't judge. We do.
Don't judge. We'll listen.
But go ahead. Farhad.
But like I said, I'm gonna be slaughtered for this. But if I had to come up with someone, it's the keeper for keeping it at 1-1. I mean, like I said, it could have been a lot worse. But I don't know. Miretti is a close second one because I was looking at all the comments online. I was on like 1,000 forums, and Miretti coming in, the kid Spalletti definitely trusts him. And all right, See, I was gonna get slaughtered for this, but anyways, let's change it to Miretti. Miretti showed. But I mean,
You can't change. No, not that peer pressure type of thing. No. You chose Digre. You made your bed. Sleep in it.
all right. Well,
Please elaborate.
Miretti was pleasant to watch somewhat because all eyes on him. Spalletti likes him, and I mean, at least he was distributing balls a little better than Locatelli. But
Di Gregorio, I'll say this in Farhad's defense. Look at guys, I'm doing my mental calisthenics to be positive. He did save one of the 2 shots on target. So there you go. We got the slow clap from Frederic. All right, Frederic. I know who you're going to choose, which is why I went to Farhad first. Your big ball.
Kelly.
Kelly.
Once
I knew you were going to say that.
Very stable in defense. Still, there are moments that he seems to black out a bit in games, but I think that's understandable. I think he needs somebody with a bit more experience or leadership next to him in order to coach him a bit better. But apart from that, the things that he does are well thought out. He's always, in my opinion, perfectly placed. And for me, I think that if you change the whole squad, literally, you'd still have a Kelly, fighting for his place in the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a very useful player and a player that could come in handy. There are a lot of players that are better than him that maybe put him out of the team, but still. Even with that in mind, I think he could be very valuable to any team if he's in shape and not injured. And he's proven that for me personally, game after game. So
I maintain that Kelly has to be front runner for turnaround player of the year. Objectively speaking, and I'm happy to talk to anybody through it. Objectively speaking, he was bad last year in the 6 months. He was forced to play, transplanting to a new country, new language. He was not good, but he has been our most reliable defender this year. Making forward runs, scoring I think 2 key goals, and he deserves the plaudits coming his way. For my man of the match, I'm gonna go to Koopmeiners. Obviously, the Fiorentina's plan was to work that right side of the pitch with Bodo and for a lot of the game, Keane making runs on that side as well. Koopmeiners was very composed in defense. He did leave some shooting angles open, but for the most part, I don't blame him for anything. And then from a possession-based, this was the first game where he wasn't a top 2 passer in that position. He was 3rd today, 60 of 61 passing, including 6 of 6 long passes. I think Koopmeiners is really, as I said during our episode with Beppe, has played himself into this team at that position, such that I think of him now more as a defender on this team, a left-sided center back on this team, than a midfielder, because we saw a year and a half of mediocre at best midfield play for him, but he has been sort of a steady Eddie in that spot. Which Spalletti agrees with in playing Kelly in the middle position and keeping Koopmeiners there. And so I think while nobody on our team really had a great game, I think next to Kelly, Koopmeiners also had a very solid performance. So he is my big balls player of the match.
Yeah, very good choice, Zach. Very good choice. And I'd also argue that because I see a lot of people saying, but if Spalletti switches over to a 4-man back line, Coop won't get that much playing time. I beg to differ. In all honesty, I beg to differ. I think it even beat better in a 4-man defense, in my opinion.
I think it could absolutely work. So I put up on the screen here. If you're watching, you see it. If you're listening, a member of the Turin Giants team, Damiano, has said no frozen fish sticks for player of the match. Frederic, and Frederic, please explain this to the folks listening, because this was a common thread in our chat.
I in our chat. I refer to a Juventus player. I'm not going to reveal which one. I'll let the chat,
Yeah. Chat, vote
guess.
for who you think. Vote for who you think Frederic was referring to. Go ahead.
I said that I've seen frozen fish sticks with more football intelligence than that certain player. That was literally my quote in the Turin
It rhymes
Giants
with
chat.
Schmostich. By the way,
we weren't supposed to reveal Farhad. We weren't
Thanks, Farhad. Thanks.
but do you guys want to know who had the lowest rating on FODMOB?
No, I already know, Farhad. It's whoever you picked as player of the game.
Probably. Yeah. Couldn't go any other way.
The Gregorio was 6.3.
I mean,
oh man!
Look. We process these underwhelming games, losses, and these shitty ties. We try to process it with a little bit of humor, folks. It's sort of our way to and alcoholic beverages to just sort of get through it. Michael kind of correctly points out that is this the best player of the game or not as bad as the other players? We always like to give a player of the game. Today, it's unequivocally who was not as bad as the other players, as opposed to who was really a star, because nobody really deserved that position. Farhad, if you would like, you can play the drop.
Yes, I have the button over it. Thank you, buddy. This has been
testicles.
Oh man, hold on.
I have a very big testicles.
Yes, I should probably find a better quality of this drop. If we're going to use it, it shouldn't sound like it's in a toilet somewhere.
Yeah, you used like a 1980s push recorder.
It was recorded with a potato. I think
me coming home from school, running home to record my favorite song from the radio. That's that drop quality.
Fun fact: that's how Warren G recorded the little piece before the regulator starts. He recorded it from a VCR where they say, "You got to be handled with the steel," if you know what I mean. Mount up.
Which movie is that? From which movie is that?
Young Guns. Young Guns.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Trivia time.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I think we've covered pretty much everything we need to of this game. It was not good. There was no one who was really great. It was even Spalletti had a tough game. Let's talk about what is next, both within the league, or I should say domestically, because we do have a Copa game coming up, as well as internationally. First things first, we're going to talk kind of domestically before we switch to the next game on the calendar, Tuesday's Champions League match in Bodo. After this draw, the current standings are that we sit sixth in a position where Como can leapfrog us. If they win their matchup, they're currently 2 points behind. We have Cagliari at home on the 29th. We've got Udinese in the Copa at home December 2nd. And then we have the big game, Spalletti's return to the Diego Maradona in Napoli on December 7th. For the two Serie A games, Frederic, and I'll just take a win or a loss for the Copa game, what do you predict over these next three domestic games?
I'm not too fussed about the Copa game, to be honest. I'm not even, my head's not even there yet. So it's difficult for me because I don't know how Spalletti will handle it in terms of, resting the team and whatever. Mm-hmm. But for the fixtures in Serie A, we're bound to have difficulties and lots of them. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go as far as to say that we're not winning any game.
Well, so you have Cagliari and Napoli. I mean, how many points do we get out of those?
I mean, I think one.
So we draw one of them and we lose one of them.
And it could be against, either. There's no straight red line or logic in this Juventus team. You could easily draw Napoli with another 4-4 historical match and lose against Cagliari with a 1-goal defeat. So it could go both ways, but I don't see us in this current state getting more than 2 points out of those two games. Max.
Farhad, do you agree?
So we're talking Bodo and Cagliari.
No. We're talking the domestic Serie A games, Cagliari and Napoli.
Oh man, that's rough.
We're going to talk Bodo in a second, because there's a couple things we want to talk about Bodo. But so we're just going to check off some of the further games, and we're going to spend the last bit talking about Bodo.
Gotcha. I mean, Cagliari is a must-win. 3 points. I just don't see us getting other. I mean, I know it's ridiculous at this point to predict a win, but I feel like that's going to be a win. Napoli game is going to be a fire. It's going to be so fun. I think Bremer is aiming the return. Freddie Scoops can. No, Freddie Scoops is shaking his head. I just read that Bremer should be back by that game. At least he's aiming for December 7th. I think we're gonna lose to Napoli. I just don't see us going there and taking 3 points. Maybe a draw. I mean, I'll let's say it's a draw. They haven't been great. Yeah, Kali. I don't. Yorio.
So how many points? How many points, Farhad? 2 games. How many points?
4 points.
All right. I was going to be, since I'm Mr. Optimistic this episode, I'm going to say 4 points as well. We wake up at home against Cagliari and we show up fired up in defense of our coach's return to the Diego Maradona.
Ooh,
and we
yes.
draw in Napoli 4 points, and we win in the Copa game at home against Udinese. I think that's a game that Udinese doesn't really want. They're having a decent season in the league, and they probably want to focus on that. And I think we should be able to take that no problem. Speaking about taking games no problem, or maybe the opposite of that, the next game on our calendar is an away game in the Champions League where Juventus will travel to Bodo, Norway, which is way up there kind of by the Arctic Circle. There's a 90% chance of snow with temperatures hovering around freezing. Bodo at home is in the Champions League has 1 draw and 1 loss, but in my opinion, outplayed Tottenham and Monaco in both of those games. And in the league, they are first, where in 29 games they've scored 80 goals and only conceded 28, which is conceding less than 1 a game while scoring about 2.5 per. This is an extremely tough away fixture, considering the weather, considering the turf, the literal turf, not the grass.
Grass don't grow up there, boys.
No, it does not. And against a team that's very much in form. Frederic, going to you first. What is your prediction for the Bodo game?
I think we'll lose heavily.
Oh,
Heavily. I mean, I could see us, getting because, and let me explain. I've seen Bodo play against Monaco. I've seen him play against Tottenham, and I saw some glimpses on or highlights of the other games, and also in their Norwegian, and they create a lot of chances. Like it's amazing how many chances they create and how efficient they are as well. They're very tight knit. You see them moving, very much as a team from their goal or their end to the other. And this is something that Juventus has always struggled with, because Juventus doesn't struggle as much with neutralizing individual players. Juventus have a really big issue when it comes down to making a team play below their level, because that's also an art form. We can't do that. We leave a lot of space open. Bodo is the type of team that takes advantage of that, and Bodo is a team that doesn't stop when they score 1 goal. Mm-hmm. They smell blood, they go for the second, and that's arguably when we're at our worst, because we start to question everything. We start, doing everything chaotically after we concede. So I could see it, turning into a slaughter
bloodbath.
in all honesty.
It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy that it's gonna be really cold on Tuesday. Meanwhile, here in Houston, Texas, it's been in the 80s Fahrenheit, roughly 30 Celsius here in the end of November. Little bit crazy, but yeah, this is a game in our preseason sort of preview. Or not a preseason, in our preview of the Champions League game. This is one that Frederic, you, me, and Kevin circled as a game against a team that you should beat, that none of us expected us to really get a result. The unfortunate reality is that where we are in the Champions League table, on the outside of qualification in the next round, we have to win this game. We have to win this game. And so it's going to be a big challenge for this team to recover from whatever today was, the underwhelming, benign effort, and rally mentally and physically for the conditions that they're playing against. And Bodo is a team, like Frederic said, that is driven by a cohesion that we haven't seen in Juventus in years. It scares me somewhat. A team that plays that well together in conditions unique to their area of the world, it just gives them, I think, an interesting advantage against a team like ours that should be technically a lot better.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will be surprised if we lose against them. I mean, the people just look at the comments here. The consensus is there's a huge chance we might lose, and like Frederic said, those type of teams, especially at home, they know let's not gloss over the turf. I mean, it's a completely different animal playing on grass and artificial turf. I mean, the ball bounces differently. They're familiar with it. It's freaking cold. It's freezing. We're probably going to see some of our players wearing earmuffs. I can't wait to see who it is. But yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of crazy seeing how the consensus is we might lose this game, and let's not kid ourselves.
I hate playing on turf, and when it's cold like that, coming from the north myself, it freezes and it's rock hard in terms of the ball. It is fast. The game speeds up on turf, and our team already is slow to react.
I just pray for no injuries.
It could be curious. I think Michael though raises a valid point. He says, "Be real. If you don't get points against Bodo, what are you even doing in the Champions League?" And I think that
amen
for a team like Juventus, as opposed to Paphos, who will play in the Champions League after, that is the absolute right take to have. I mean, we're Juventus. The fact that we're so concerned about this game is, I think, representative of where this team is in its development. It's just far behind where we're used to seeing it, where we want to see it. So, I think one positive take, again, in the interest of positivity, is what Kolo says, is Locatelli's sideways and backwards passing will move a lot faster. And I think, just real talk, and I didn't really talk about it when we were discussing this game, for much of the Fiorentina game today, we were way too slow on the ball, which allowed a very defense-focused, compact, certainly in the center part of the pitch, Fiorentina team to prevent any actual combination play to fashion chances, and resigned us to that cross and enchilada tactic that we talked about at the beginning of the call. The few times that we actually played quicker, were the ones that released those moments. Dusan's breakaway, the penalty that wasn't, Yıldız's not breakthrough, but his run through the middle that resulted in sort of a tame shot on goal, were all at the times when we actually started to play a little bit quicker. And if this team can play like that on a regular basis, we'll do a lot better than we saw today. Unfortunately, we just don't see it enough. We don't see it enough.
And the thing also is, and let's not forget about that. In the past, when we had to win, when we were a stronger side mentally and physically, we usually, got those things done because we were very strong mentally. We formed a group, an alliance, a union, whatever. We don't have that. So now I think the pressure or the must-win ambiance around the game will cripple a lot of players.
All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna ask you to give your win-loss draw prediction for the Bodo game, and then we will sign off for today. Farhad, what is the result in Bodo, Norway?
Damn. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I can see us completely shitting the bed and losing 3-1. I feel like a quick goal against us, because they'll catch us by surprise. It's like I said, it's their home, their weather, their turf. They get one, we squeeze one back barely, and then we just lose control at the end of the game. I'm just If we're lucky, there's a draw, as Damiano says. But I mean, expect a draw, but I'll be happy with a win for sure.
So Farhad's prediction is a loss 3-1. Frederic,
4-1 Bodo.
4-1 defeat.
I thought I was crazy.
All
Nope.
right. All right, gentlemen, are you ready for this? You heard it here first.
My man's gonna come out with a W.
and then
Guaranteed.
get it right.
I hope so.
It's hard for me to even say because nothing about this team right now is inspiring confidence. But screw it, somebody has to be positive. I'm going a 2-1 victory where we go up 2-0 at first half. Bodo gets one late, 2-1 victory, and it gets us back on track in the Champions League.
There. You know what? Let me tell you, a win for this podcast right now would be so good because creating content when your team is drawing or losing, it will be a godsend. So just for us, Juve, do it for us.
No, we'll just come up with more creative ways. Look, last year, and folks who have listened to us for a long time know this. Recent subscribers maybe not, but last year, coming up with content for 16 league draws. Right? We're creative at this point, Farhad. we're creative at this point. And so we'll be sure, even if that is the case, whether it's 3-1, 4-1 defeat or a 2-1 victory, we will be sure to be giving you
what's the famous sorry to interrupt you. What's the famous quote from Bain? You were raised by I was raised by the draws. You were merely adopted by them.
Yes.
I was born with the draws.
We will be sure to bring you either a good episode of positive winning content or a therapy session that hopefully brings you some laughs like today. Everyone listening live, everyone listening at home, we want to appreciate you. Remember, please subscribe to our YouTube at Turin Giants or like Turin Giants Official. Thank you, Farhad. Like us and follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google Play. Check out TurinGiants.com. We're going to be coming with some cool merch release soon. Frederic and I will be doing not only the scoop as we near the winter transfer market, but we'll also be demoing a new sub-series called It's Black and White. So stay tuned for that. And continue to follow us.
You just spilled the tea like that, Zach? I thought we were going live.
No. We lay the breadcrumbs, Frederic. We lay the breadcrumbs.
Okay, teasing it.
Yeah, just a little tease. We're gonna come out with everything in due course, but we want to let them know what they're in store for. We appreciate everybody so much. Thank you all, and as always, Forza Juve.
Contadini per Nedved, Pirlo, la conclusione in rete, Andrea Pirlo, un gol pazzesco! Del Piero, Alex, Del Piero! Sulla compagna di Pogacar, Pogba, rete, un gol incredibile! Pogba fa esplodere lo Juventus